It's 2024, and with a new year comes new aspirations. What new treats and treasures await us in this unmapped expanse of possibilities? I've been theory crafting a lot of ideas of what the future of Baldur's Gate 3 might look like. And boy oh boy am I optimistic about everything that's coming our way. In theory. Settle in, because there's a lot of content.
One more bite and this pie is gonna come back up to say hello.
Let me begin by stressing that I am very satisfied with the current state of the game that Larian has provided for us. Personally, I'd be completely content if they just left it unchanged, save for some minor bug fixes here and there. But I know how these lunatics work. I was there, Gandalf. I was there 3,000 years ago when Divinity Original Sin was released. I've seen how committed Larian is to going above and beyond even after exceeding every expectation. They've already proven a willingness to add more content out of nowhere with the release of the Magic Mirror in Patch 4 and the absurdity of Patch 5 adding all kinds of stuff like expanded epilogues and custom mode and honor mode. It's because of all this that I feel confident predicting that it's only a matter of time until... Goodie bags! What the hell's a goodie bag? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Goodie bags were the 5 major patches that Larian committed to giving Divinity 2 players for seemingly no reason other than being the GOAT of game developers. Similar to the size and scope of what they've given us in Patch 5. I think that if we take a look back at these goodie bags, we can get a decent idea of the kind of quality of life changes that we could expect them to bring to Baldur's Gate 3 someday. Goodie bag number 1 gave us a massive increase of character creation assets. Tons of new faces, hairstyles, beards, you name it. I know it's a bit of a larger thing to ask for in a game like Baldur's Gate, especially with all the motion capture used to get all the faces just right. But if you've dabbled with any of the cosmetic mods out there, you know that it is very possible to add more customization options. I for one would love to see more face options, especially for our poor dwarven brethren. I feel like I see the same dwarf face around every corner.
What's not to enjoy? I can walk in sunlight.
Slap an evolved character creator into a patch and I guarantee that people will use it as an excuse to start a new playthrough. Goodie bag number 2 for Divinity could easily make a Baldur's Gate patch. It added a massive selection of new crafting recipes and even added herb gardens. How neat is that? Could you imagine how cool a little herb garden would be with all the awesome alchemy stuff in the game? It would finally give me something to work on while my party members were respecking for the 14th time. I remember the aspirations for crafting in early access being pretty high, but when the full game came out, it seems like they just condensed crafting into alchemy and the occasional weapon combinations like the Spear of the Absolute and the Morning Frost. One of the most useful things to do in Divinity 2 was crafting nails into lockpicks. Small, tiny benefits for the players who want to take the time to toy with the mechanic, but nothing that you need to progress through the game. This goodie bag also added a Speak with Animals toggle button that I think would fit perfectly into the custom rule settings. Give bag number 3 added a full-fledged combat randomizer to the game. I've seen a randomizer mod for the game explode in popularity recently, so it would be awesome to see Larian develop something official for the game since so many people seem to be enjoying it. It also added an improved inventory organization, but it seems like they've been on top of that already. Hey, Sorceress Sundries, that sounds familiar. In Divinity, this was a way to level up your gear to keep it relevant in the late game. I'm not sure if this is something that would work in Baldur's Gate, but it would be really cool if vendors could provide a +1 bonus to weapons and armor in the future. Sometimes you find a janky piece of gear that you really want to use, but the AC just isn't high enough to justify it. This would definitely fix that problem, and I think it'd be a fun thing to add to the game. Goodie bag number 4 was just a bunch of casual gameplay stuff that I could definitely see them added to the custom campaign settings. In Baldur's Gate terms, it was things like allies resurrecting on long rest, and Speak with Dead being an ability you could just turn on and off. Small things to help a more casual playthrough. This one also added more quote-unquote talents in Divinity, so I could definitely see this translating to be maybe more feats in Baldur's Gate. Feats are always fun. Or at least tweaking the ones we already have a little more. The last gift bag that they added to Divinity gives me lots of hope for the future of Baldur's Gate content. In Divinity Original Sin 2, they added 4 sets of legendary armor scattered all over portions of the game, oftentimes attached to huge new quest lines and a multitude of new combat encounters. I think something like this would fit perfectly into Baldur's Gate. There's a certain mountain pass that I think has plenty of room to grow in terms of expanding content. And each party member being kitted out with their own set of legendary armor by the end of the game does not sound half bad to me. The tricky part about adding new content would be balancing XP, since currently the game is spaced out in such a way to avoid being over-leveled at certain parts. I know Swin has already confirmed that there's no chance of the level cap ever being raised past 12, since it would require so much rebalancing for Act 3. But who knows, maybe some wizard will make a mod for that someday. On this next segment, I'm going to call it Dream Big Because It's Free, where I gush over what I think would be the coolest thing in the world to see, even though it will likely, probably, never happen. Tav, voice acting.
This seems as good a place as any to make camp.
Could you imagine? I can. I remember when they announced voice acting in Divinity 2 after saying that it was sadly impossible. The Mad Lads found a way to do that, so maybe they can give us tab voices too. Just make it like a toggle on and off option so everyone's happy. Because I can imagine tab voice lines adding like 20 hours to the game just listening to them respond. Here's hoping. New companions. Give us short companions. I know that they know what every player wants. A goblin companion. Or is that just me? Tell me a little goblin ranger with a summon warg ability would not be the hypest thing ever. A little something for the evil players to enjoy, and a nice I can fix them project for the good guys. Or how about a Dwagar companion that has absolutely had it with the Absolute and will join you to whatever ends if it means taking them down a peg. You can team up with this guy for a little bit, which is pretty cool, but it's just not the same as having an actual companion. Maybe a Deep Gnome Artificer? Maybe an Artificer class? It was one of the most popular classes in 5e D&D despite not even making it into the original player's handbook. It could fit nicely with an overhauled crafting system, just saying. How about non-companion romances? I'm not talking about the Drow twins and Sharesh's Caress. I'm talking about making sweet, passionate, real love to that one true lover boy, Damon. Or, you know, other people too. Please let me kiss Shaza. Or Toad Breath. Final answer, I want to go on a date with Toad Breath.
What? I blushed. As if I could change that.
Who says romances had to be limited to major characters? Let me just kiss a random person on the streets of Baldur's Gate. But alas, none of this will ever happen. Unless... New races, classes, companions, quests. The possibilities are kind of endless with Larian at the helm. I mentioned it before, I'm eternally grateful for the game that they've given us. It's already exceeded so many of my expectations. I'm really excited to see what the future holds for this game and ultimately curious about what other surprises they're cooking up for us. What's something you'd love to see in the future of Baldur's Gate 3? I, for one, am confident that they won't stop improving our favorite RPG until it's available on all mobile devices. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing for more Baldur's Gate stuff. Also, if any of this stuff I listed in this video is actually added to the game, remember you heard it here first, and I will happily take a remote position at Larian Studios.